Hello, welcome back to the Atomic Cast. We have missed a couple of weeks, but it's okay because we're back and we're going to catch them all up all in one swift go. It's going to be exciting, and I hope you're ready. Let's do a quick roll call before we go. Bert, are you here?
I
No.
am
Cool. Henry, are you
here.
here?
It's wonderful.
I I'm here.
Hi,
Hi
Henry.
Tom.
Jordan, are you here?
I'm here. Hello.
But should we try Bert again? Bert, are you here?
Bert is frozen on my screen in a terrifying
Bert is not here.
visage.
Okay, good. Classic. We love to see it. Right,
I talk
cool.
about
Good chat from Bert. Hope no one was excited to hear from Bert today. He appears to have just completely disappeared from our screens, and that's okay. We're here for it. Oh, he's back. Bert, are you here?
I'm still here. I thought it was your connection.
Hey, it's Bert. Everyone say hi, Bert.
Hi, Bert.
Hi,
Bert.
Bert.
Ben, are
Hi,
you
Bert.
here? Oh, no, there's no
stop
Ben.
it. Too
Sad.
soon.
Oh,
Too soon.
But yeah, so we got Bert, we got Henry, we got Jordan, we got Tom, we've got all some of the crew. It's okay. We're going to talk about some events. So, the recent event that comes to mind first is probably Henry, your Battle of Britain event, which was your first time hosting an event.
yes, it was.
Oh, and how did
Um,
it go for you?
I think it went well. Um, Nothing terribly went wrong. It was just a nice, simple 80 GBHL 80 with 3 rounds, 650 points, a few extra little rules thrown in based on Churchill quotes because it was the Battle of Britain.
Why was it
Because
about the Britain, Henry?
Wow, Tom, my surname is Brittain.
Ah, that's funny.
It's almost like another event that's
I
coming
knew
up.
that.
Hint, Bert, I can't.
We'll get there. We'll get there. We'll get there.
Um, yeah, it was a really nice event. It was lovely to run. It was like I said, 3 rounds. Each round had a special rule, which could have come from a pool of. I'm not gonna say the quotes out loud because I'm gonna butcher them, but it's Mighty Hero, no terror the entire round, or Warriors get +1 fight value, and that was just pre-rolled before the round, and that happens. Um, but yeah, we had a sort of the first round was assassination with Mighty Hero, which led to some interesting little matchups that occurred. Some absolutely interesting scenarios with the. I know the last noobs put it up, but the ruffians versus the Dale. That sort of popped up there. Have you not seen this image, Bert?
No.
There was a
Oh, I'll
classic
show it.
ruffian horseshoe happen because it played on the desert
Hmm.
where it's a little bit thinner on the ground. This doesn't have as much like big line of sight blocking stuff, but it has some movement cucking things.
Oh, right. So Ruffians
Um,
were just firing like 30 bows a day.
yeah,
Yeah.
That's not a good time.
Good time if you're the
Um,
refuge player.
it was an absolutely rogue ruffians list as well. I absolutely loved it. It was Sackville Bug. I just realised I
Low
misspelled the name. Sackville Buggins. Uh, Lofo was the leader. Ted Sandyman, and then just all ruffians. Just so cursed. I loved it. Uh, but yeah, that was sort of like sort of interesting for round one with my hero. Round two was domination with no terror. So that meant like the no models could gain terror either in that round. So things like Vanquishers can do terrifying aura, or like Angmar can do their shenanigans, which there was a couple that popped about. Yeah, and that was sort of nice round two. And then round three we had Recon with the +1 fight value. Um, so it was a nice mix of scenarios, really. Sort of one couple that sort of did sort of lean towards like more troop side, but the first scenario, obviously with more punchy heroes, I guess. So yeah, it was also nice to see like a mix of lists. Some people really leaned into it with like elves, Riders Rohan, and then a couple of people just like, do you know what, 112 Sharky's Rogues, why not? But yeah, it was sort of a really nice day. I think everyone generally had a good time. General feedback seemed to show that as well. So
Nice.
And as
Yeah.
if by the power of magic, Baba! The Longshanks page for it should pop up on your screens now. So
yes,
you can see that Mr. Lambert won the event with his Elfie boys. So he had Lothlorien and Gilgalad, and then a bunch of elves, which so a lot of them had fight 5, bit of sprinkling of fight 6 thrown in there to make use of that time when they got up a little bit of extra fight. Going up to like fight 6, fight 7.
Fight 7 elves as the live. That's absolutely busted.
Yeah.
I love it. I absolutely love it.
Extra might on that mighty hero round as well would have been really handy for these guys. Just an all around good time. So he had
Tom, can we ask you who Rita Oral is?
no. Right, yeah, that's up so we can look at thingy. Just one of the nicknames in the group chat, but
I'd noticed it and I didn't want to say anything.
yeah.
Just call it, you know.
So my group chat with my group of friends, no one's got their real name in there. There's been ongoing nicknames, and those nicknames have been ongoing for about 15 to 20 years. Some of them change when life events happen, some of them don't. Which
life event inspired Rita Oral?
It was a character at a murder mystery party. Yeah, exactly.
Not where we thought.
Sorry, I've slightly delayed this. Let's go back to fight 7 elves.
So yes, this was a fight 6, fight 7 list of elves that had a lovely time just kind of plonking itself and winning at things. It has a couple of cav thrown in with the Rivendell Knights, so that recon wasn't too much of an issue for him. And yeah, just had a good old time, didn't he? Good old David. We like David Lambert. He's a nice lad.
We love David.
Then Jobby 93 off of Jordan O'Brien. He had some Harrod stuff, which was basically as many models as he could get on a table with blowpipes, poison, Bowie stuff, and a betrayer to just upset people. He did not read the message about it being an 80. So that's 23 blowpipes and 8 bows.
Of all the events not to bring the Watcher to, this is the one that he chose.
Yes.
Jordan.
Yes, this list is pretty punchy. Good job, Jordan.
Yeah.
And then Dan Garside with Lothlorien Rohan.
Woo!
Super solid.
Yeah, the classic Helmingus frontline, Wood Elves backline, which 5 years ago would have been prevalent at a top table near you. But
Dan's been playing this. The first time I met Mr. Garside, he was playing pretty much this. It was nice to see him still doing well with the same thing.
Mm.
Something I've been looking at pivoting into as well. Lothlorians suck on their own.
Needs more Haleth.
Not every Rohan list needs the Haleth.
not every time you play with your little toys do you also need to play with a little boy. But
that's one for the tombstone.
Yeah.
He likes little toys and little boys. It's all right.
Also, quick shout out to Dan Garside for getting the most sporting votes as well, and Phil Beale for getting the best painted at the event.
Yes, Phil Beale.
Yes.
Love Phil Beale.
We love Phil Bill.
Yeah. Lovely Azog Legion as well. Really well painted.
Which wasn't Phil Bill? Oh, was that Phil Bill's?
What was Phil Bill?
I can never remember. What was Andy Hamlin's one?
He took the Eagles.
Ah, yes, the Eagles. Yes, because they both had like equal amount of points, votes, and I had to pick. Yes. Yes. Pesky Eagles. I have a problem with Eagles in that they just look good on their own. I have painted some Eagles where I've gone, God, they look really good. Who painted them? And it was me in about 2 minutes with some dry brushing. They're like, yeah. So whereas Azog's Legion stuff, when it looks good, I know you put some effort in because that is really hard to make look really good, you know?
On a tangent, have you guys seen like a recent GBHL event? Someone made like eagles, but they weren't eagles; they were like massive ravens.
Yeah, that was the 90 that I was at. That was
They looked awesome.
Jack Darlington. Yeah,
Yeah.
really, really, really impressive.
Really
Who,
actually,
incidentally, has unfortunately lost his dog. Oh no, his dog's got very ill and needs surgery. So he's having to sell some models, but there's someone set up a GoFundMe for it. So yeah, if you're on the GBHL Facebook group, go find it. Help him out because he puts an awful lot of time and effort into his models. And
he's selling a load of stuff, and it all looks amazing. Like he's got
Yeah.
Bjornings and everything. So
he's also pretty much single-handedly championing the sort of melton Mowbray community and doing a huge like national slow grow. Like the guy puts so much effort into everything he does. So support from the Atomic Cast. Please go and help out Jack Darlington's dog and say hi to him.
I'll
He's
put
a really
the link
lovely,
in the
lovely chap.
YouTube description. Make sure I have. If I haven't, shout at me.
nice.
But yes, Battle of Britain. Henry, how did you find being on the other side of the event running side of things?
Well, first of all, loved it. Like I found it really interesting, really enjoyable. But B, God blimey, it's tiring trying to organize everything, get everything sorted. I now have a much better understanding of TOs when they're running it. And I do want to do one again though. Like it was such a good time, good experience. I learned so much doing it. I'm also glad I started an 80. Like I so glad I did do a 90 and sort of start from there. And 80 was a nice little stepping up stone to find out how it was, dip my toes in, see what's going on. You know.
I was going to ask actually if doing an 80 was something that you'd like deliberately picked, or was it just like theme equals 80?
It was a little bit of both. Like I wanted to do a theme, so I knew like an 80 was probably what I was going to go for, but an 80 was probably the better choice. Just because it was my first one, so I don't want to do a 90 and then if it comes down to actual TO questions, I'll just be stood there going, Tom, what am I doing? Help! But yeah, it was an 80 was a good shout. It was just enjoyable. Everyone had a chill time. I gave everyone little goodie bags.
Oh,
With
Yeah,
like a
that's
little gave everyone 6-inch stick, a dice, a pen, little notepads, you know, just things like when you go to a tournament, you're gonna need those sort of things. So I was like, here you go.
Yeah,
Which most people seem. Yes.
Yeah.
So everyone had a few of those kickback, which luckily we actually used at the tournament. I was frightened we wouldn't. So
Nice.
yeah, it was a good time. I'd definitely run one again at some point, if I can.
Is there one thing you would change?
One thing I would definitely change was, well, me personally, I need to learn how to speak properly. Speaking like in being groups of people, because at the awards things, I did unfortunately forget Phil Bill's name.
oh no!
I know. It was. So it's like,
that guy.
It very nearly was, Jordan.
Well done, you.
One thing I'd probably change again is I probably may not do the rules again just because it was so. A lot of them influenced some games. A lot of them people just ignored anyway. So I'll probably just like run straight up rules, or maybe like just run as like an. If I do the next one, probably do a 90 just as plain 650 or something around there.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's about it really.
I think there's an argument there for like. Sorry.
Do you think there's anything that it might change about you when you go to events as a player in the future?
It's probably more like the understanding that I know what a tournament organizer is going through. Like they're dealing with say at least 20, like 15, 20 people at least, probably all asking questions ahead of time, probably all asking, hey, can I take this model? Like, due respect to them. Like, I understand what everyone's going through basically at this point. Like, like they're probably stressing out about like making sure everyone's sort of there, making sure everything's timed up correctly, making sure all the votes are in, stuff like that. So it's just more like, understanding what the TA is going through. Makes sense.
Cool. But what were you going to say, sorry, mate?
Like I said, I think for 80s, there's definitely an argument for if you're going to go with some funky rules, really, really, really go with some funky rules. And I think people have may lead into it a little bit more. Having said that, I love the relationship of the actual rules to the theme of the event and relating to a Churchill speech. That's just that is just kind of cool. But it's an 80. You could go like all warriors get +2 fight value, or just really, really, really shake things up. Or do like unbelievably mighty hero get 2 free might point a turn on a hero that isn't your leader, or something like this. Just people go, okay, this event is going to be slightly batshit, but I'm all for it.
You could also, one of the things I thought about like halfway through the event was it would have been really cool if the first scenario was recon, but instead of being called recon, you called it storming the beaches, and then put in the special rule into it. Didn't change anything, just other than all your troops get fearless or whatever it was, or terror is gone. But then you could go through the operation that way or something like that, which would have been quite fun. And tried to theme it to that.
We could just done Storm the Camp and call it Storm the Beaches.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
Missed opportunities.
Next time.
2025.
Next time.
There was also layers. Oh, 100% yes. It was such a good time. I was exhausted by the end of the day, but then like looking back on it, it was such a good time. Everyone it was nice seeing everyone just play games, like enjoy the day. Everyone's just like happy. It was just a lovely, lovely day, really.
I love just hanging out at the events when we're running them. Like, I don't need to play the game all the time. I play it sometimes. I'm quite happy playing it. I just like hanging out with everyone and seeing what everyone else is doing.
Yeah.
And it's quite fun to I like looking and going, that's interesting. How have you got in this position? And then trying to work back from what's this guy doing over here? Why is he there? Without saying anything to the people and ruining their game. But yeah. So that was the Battle of Brittain. Thanks, Henry, for talking to us about your experience. After the Battle of Brittain, we went across to the Guardians of Wiltshire / Dewey Evans ran event over in Chippenham, which was the Guardians' call to Umbar this year.
Umbar, yeah.
Umbar. It is the Guardians call to something every year. I lose track. The Guardians call to Umbar, which was 550 points, 7 games, over in Chippenham. I went, Bert went, Henry went. George came with us as well. George was there. Yeah. But yeah, that was the crew representation. Just an awful lot of people on a holiday, basically. For an event that's like 15, 20 minutes from us, maybe half an hour at a stretch. It would have been nice to have more people, but it's like in the summer holidays. So
I was legitimately annoyingly on holiday for both Battle of Britain and this one, which were both ones that I wanted to get to. So, yeah.
Just plan it better.
Yep. I
it's a
will.
good issue.
Next year, I'm going to run my life around the GBHL calendar and not my personal.
Yeah,
life.
that's how you need to do this, mate. That's the level of dedication we expect.
I'm sure Leah will be fine with that level of dedication.
That's good.
I'm
If
sure she
not,
will.
I'll have a word.
And if that doesn't go well, then I guess I'm fully dedicated because I'll be single.
Hey, look, it's a power boost, mate. It's all right. We've seen it happen. So the Guardians call to Umbar. I took Arnor. Yes, I took Arnor to this one. Which I've been playing around with a couple of events. I thought I'd take it out to its first 100. Spoilers. I hate Arnor. It's really boring. I wouldn't mind like some horses or something, if only. Oh wait. Henry, what did you take?
Oh, I took old reliable Goblin Town Spider Queen.
Did you have a nice time?
Yeah, it was all right. I mean, I played like pretty much every single Pits player that turned up there, but yeah, it was a fun time.
Oh, we'll get into the details later. That was just a vibe check. It's all right. It's all right. It's okay. It's just a little vibe check. It's okay. Hey, Bert. I need a vibe check in aisle 3.
There are no vibes. I took the Defenders of Helm's Deep. Again.
Because
that's all.
It's got a little boy?
Because I started every game with a little boy.
Yeah. He's a little boy playing with his little toy boy.
Do you wish you'd have taken Riders of Theon, Bert?
Ask me that question once we run through the games.
Nice.
All right, cool. So we're going to try and like rapid fire through some games here. So game 1, I was playing against a ruffian man with a 50 bajillion ruffians on retrieval. It was a large amount of ruffian boys, and I could not get through them. So I stopped trying and tried to outlast them, and I did not do that either. And then I lost. Retrieval done. Henry, how did it go for you?
I played Adden Sirens of the Goms Gamers against Pits. I won that game.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good job.
Thank you.
Proud of you.
Oh, thank you, George.
But how did your game go?
I played against Giuseppe Bonetti of London fame, and bless him, I think he made a small miscalculation and thought that if Hurin was alive when Denethor died, then I wouldn't get any VPs for it ever, even if I subsequently killed Hurin. So he moved up. I camped to my objective. I shot Denethor. I then set up my objective. He hit my lines. He died. I did not. That was the game, really. Unfortunately.
Proud of you, Bert.
That's half my success from this tournament.
Good job, Bert. I'm proud of you, baby.
I don't know which other game you won. I'm going to write down a number.
Game 2 was Contest Champions. I was playing against Camille. He had Moria Goblins. Our board was super, super dense, like full of Orphanky stuff. So it was a nightmare to get in and around stuff. His leader was Durbers. He put him behind everyone. My leader was Arthur Doovie. I put him near the front. He had a cave Dweller in the Dark, which was slightly scary. So what I did was I hid from it and killed goblins with Arthur Dewey. And then I won. Because it turns out killing goblins with Arthur Dewey is how you win a game. He did actually kill Arthur Dewey in the end with the Dweller in the Dark eventually. But like, fine. I was already like 5 kills up or something silly like that. So what's Durber's going to do about it? Basically. So that was that. Yeah, it was a long, sloggy game, which was great for lunch. But yeah, we got there. Henry, how did contest go for you?
Well, I played Michelange's ghostly Riders Fairden.
Oh yeah.
Basically, I threw the Spider Queen on one flank with a few broodlings, and then Michelage went to the other flank, and I sent the Goblin King that way. He yeeted the Goblin at Fairden. He knocked Fairden off his horse, and the Goblin King decided to bonk some horses. And
what an absolutely vile image that is. Oh my god. Nay. No, absolutely not. Oh wow.
But I want that one.
Good job.
Ready, Henry.
Thank you.
But how did your contest champions game go?
Oh, it was vile, mate. I played against actually Wilger. I lost 8 turns of priority in a row.
That's a good issue.
Theoden's heroic combat got shut off from behind 2 ranks. I had a Witch King trapped, and after all, go 3 dice into it. It was every single thing that could possibly have gone wrong went wrong in that game. So that was really fun. I don't want to talk about it anymore.
Sounds. Game 3 was Storm the Camp. I played against Will Champions Riders of Fairden. And what they did was they rode at me, and then they rode through me, and then I died. And that was that. There was the classic second turn of combat heroic move roll off, and I decided to lose it, which was a poor taste of judgment from me. I should have won it, and then I would have potentially won the game. But I chose to not win the game by not rolling better. And that's how that game went. Fortunately, it was really quick and easy, and I lost the game quickly. So we could go and have a lie down, which made me happy.
With Will Champion or separately?
Separately. There wasn't much space either side of the goalposts to have a little lie down, but we went and laid down on some crash mats because it was a bit comfy. But yeah, it was one of them, like, here's my stuff, it's defending my camp. Oh, and it's dead. Cool. Good chat. I did the thing where you roll. I passed like 5 Malbeth saves on the same model, but he was against one rider of Fairden, and then against Dalewine's heroic combat, I passed 0, and he got his free heroic combat off. And little things like that, where again, I just chose to roll the dice well in the wrong places, so it's my fault. But you know, that's how this game works. So it's okay. We go again, back stronger. Henry, how did your game go?
Well, I played Elliot for Guns Gamers, and I played Pits. That's my second game of Pits. Basically, I hid in my little camp because I'm little goblin friends, but the Queen bloody sent it, according to my notes. The Queen did die because
because you sent it on her own.
Yeah, basically my mind went blank and I forgot about the Pit special rule. Yeah,
yes.
even though that was my second game.
The magic resistance, yeah?
Yeah, that one particularly, yeah.
Okay, cool. Just checking.
But in the end, I just sort of sat on my little base. Goblins slowly died, but in the end, I lost that game.
But how did yours camp storming go?
This is probably up there, like one of my favorite games of the weekend. I had a really interesting game of Storm the Camp against Luke Hilder, who I was rooming with for the weekend, where marched across the board, hit each other, and then there were lots of like very like swingy to heroic combats that went off, some that didn't. I threatened his camp. He had to move some things back. Galadriel got threatened. There's a really crucial priority. It was a really tense, close, proper game of SBG, actually, which you don't often get with Storm the Camp. I lost. Lost on in theory time, but I think the result was pretty much there anyway. He had 2 Rivendell Knights, so I just came straight to his camp, tried to capture it. He went for mine. I tried to go for break unbroken. I think I may have broken him, but he caught my camp. So it was a good game. I enjoyed it. But yes, that put me 1 and 2 going into round 4.
Nice. I played Ryan Hinch in round 4, making a comeback. That or just down to see some mates. We'll see. But I played Domination round 4. And he had a Iron Hills Ballista, Dane, Dwalin, and Foreign on goats.
Ooh.
And we were playing Domination. So I was like, okay, cool. This is probably going to go all right. If I just leave some dudes over there on those objectives and then lob some boys at the dwarfs and die, I will win the game. And that's what happened. So that was nice.
Proud of you, Tom.
Cheers, mate. I messed up a little bit at first because
Nice.
I didn't think about angles and stuff, and he was clever and put his ballista thing, so the 3 inches twirly whirly boys meant that I just couldn't shoot any of his heroes, and I was like, "That's cool. I'll sit here and shoot your heroes." And he went, "Okay, twirly whirlies." Oh yeah, cool. So that was a good first turn, but then it picked up from there, so it was okay. Because then I just sent it, and life was good. I kept Arvadui bubble wrapped, threw the rest of the stuff at him. Remembered that because I've used Foreign and Goat a fair few times. Do you know what he hates? D6. Do you know what he hates even more? D7. But what he really hates is D6 with a Malbeth save because he's not very good at killing it. So yeah, I just threw bodies at him so he couldn't get his throat combats off. Then life was good. Yeah, Dane lost his pig. Dwalin and Foreign were both still on goats at the end of the game, just having a lovely time. But I was just calling moves, winning move roll-offs, and charging them, so it was okay. And then just leaving enough boys around them so they couldn't get anywhere, even if they did win the move roll-off. So yeah, I think I broke him in the end as well because I killed some of the blister crew. Might not have, can't remember. Either way, it was a win, but a fairly tight win because I was broken and yeah, I can't remember. Either way, I won. It was fine. So I finished the day 2 and 2. Henry, how did it go for you, sir?
Well, I played Thomas Seacombe, and he had a Corsair with Haradrim like detachment as well. So lots of bows, lots of throwing weapons. Do you know what goblins hate?
Throwing
Lots of
weapons.
bows, lots of weapons, yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. So basically, I just kept 2 squads back on like my 2 objectives on my side. Just sent like Goblin King, Grenadier, and like a few lads forward. Spider Queen went up one flank. Eventually, we hit combat. A few turns, killed Dalamir, which was his leader. We both broke, and then I think it was he held 2 or 3 objectives, and then we ended up a draw because I had the leader kill, something like that. So yeah, ended up a draw. Ended day 1, 2-1-1. That wasn't too bad.
Oh, good work.
Proud of you.
Thank you, Jordan.
Bert, how did your game 4 go?
I played against Will Duckworth's Corsairs. And yeah, I deployed on the centre line. He deployed a little bit further back with only like I was a bit scared that he only had like 3 Arbalesters, so then I was a bit less scared. He full sent all the Reavers straight into my front line. After clarifying that they were only fight 4, I ended up I think I called 3 heroic combats and basically just catapulted my entire line straight into the other Corsairs, where I just had more might to contest moves and just dominate. So I think I won 10-2. I broke him, killed his leader, had 4 objectives, and on time I ran out of time to get onto his back objective. I think it would have been like 12. Yeah, 12-0. But yeah, fight 4 D3 Corsairs don't do particularly well into fight 5 strength 3 with throw weapons and all the rest of it. Unfortunately.
Proud of you, Bert.
Thank you. So I finished 2 and 2.
Thanks.
I also
Jordan.
had game 5 written on my hand. Not game 4, so I got it wrong.
Well, talking about game 5, we got to play Clash by Moonlight, and that's a scenario Bert's army loves. So you never know, Jordan. You might still be right. I played Clash by Moonlight against an Isengard list that had many crossbows and ballistas and things in it, and that made me slightly scared. But what I did was I hid behind a building for a while, and then jumped across to hide behind a different building for a while until he kind of moved a bit. And then when he moved his crossbows, I took that opportunity to run a little bit closer and hide behind a different building. And I did that until I got close enough, and then we just sent it into him. And then because at that point he'd moved around a little bit, so his lines were a little bit out of shape. And then he was bold and courageous with his ballista firing and fired it straight into Arthur Dewey, who happened to be within 3 inches of Gorulf, who accidentally got hit by a ballista and died instantly. But you know. So yeah, he had Lurtz, Gorulf, and Vrasku. Gorulf just got ballisted to death fairly early on. It did cause utter carnage, but it was funny, so it's okay. And yeah, it was one of those ones where because the ballista's like wounding on 2s in Clash by Moonlight. It's wild. I think my captain was in the same combat as Gorulf as well. I think that's something like that happened. Like it was just death happened everywhere. Yeah, it was a bloodbath. But as Arnold liked to do, they won out the kind of war attrition. I broke him, I got him down low, and then just decided to run away. Because all of his crossbows were dead. And I've never successfully tactically ran away before, but I managed to successfully tactically run away. And we disengaged, dropped back, and so he couldn't kill me. Which was nice. And then I won the game.
Proud of you, Tom.
Thanks, Jordan. Love you, babes.
Love you too.
Henry, how did Clash by Moonlight go for you? You can see in the dark, you little tinker.
Yeah, I can. Do you know what doesn't care about that?
What?
Hits with no bows. So I played Larry, who was my first hits game of the tournament. Yeah, so we just end up just hitting lines. Spider Queen died again because I forgot about the magic resistance. And then she got absolutely obliterated. The Goblin King, though, did pick up a goblin and throw it at Lazog and dismount him.
Yeah.
So.
Showing the wild still stays around, though, isn't it?
I know.
Bastard.
That actually made it a lot worse because the Warg ended up just eating through my goblins a couple of heroes. And I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Henry, was it at this point during your weekend you were like, when did pits become meta?
Oh,
don't tell anyone, but pits have actually always been really good. Just at a very specific point window.
This one.
That point window is 550.
It's definitely this one.
It's 550, maybe up to 600.
It's when it was that 90 in Birmingham last year where it turned into like the sweat. It was like a GBHL 100 field. I drew Jakob round 1, What have you bought? He just went, I bought pits because pits at 550 is busted. I went, okay, right. Okay. If you say so. I lost
Was that 550? Was that 550?
It was 550. That's what I thought. That's why I thought my list was busted. It was not.
No, because that one I distinctly remember getting to the kind of top table or so and looking around, and there was like going into the final round, the top 8, like 5 of it was pits. Then there was Rawson on Arnor, me on Lake Town Foreign, and some of Bears. Like that was the top of the field. I was like, oh god, this is scary.
Pits
Pits
everywhere.
I lost, but anyway, pits. Yeah, quite good at 550, Henry.
Oh yes.
Yeah. Wonder how they did it 555. Should we find out?
Ooh.
We can find out how that one does.
Don't want to play pits.
You can play. You can bring whatever list you want to, Jordan. It's
I don't
absolutely
want to play
fine.
against pits.
Oh, right, okay.
Maybe if I
Jordan.
bring pits, I won't have to play against it.
Jordan, it's on my shelf there. It's right there.
Oh no, Henry. Not you. Not lovely Henry.
I can bring out my cursed white warg. It'd be great.
I have pits. Should we all take pits? Anyway, round 6. No, we haven't done Bert's round 5. Good heavens, how could I forget?
Well, Bert, who physically went, yeah, baby, when the scenario was announced, came up against generic Mordor with like 3 orc trackers and thought this is going to be gorgeous. And there was the moment when I fired off the first volley of shots where I stood still. So remember, I'm 32 models. Every single thing apart from Theoden and Gambling has a bow. So I stood still and I fired 30 shots into a black Numenorian line, and I killed nothing.
That's not true, is it? You don't have 30 bows in your 30 odd battle list.
I have 10 bows and 20 throwing weapons.
Right, I was gonna say. You did just say bow, and I was very confused. Like, you're cheating so badly. How are you losing?
No, sorry. I have 10 bows, 10 elf bows, Haleth bow, and 20 throwing weapons. And yeah, first one happened, and I literally killed nothing. Which was an interesting start. Heroic moves were fairly even. Feel like I lost a fight or two more than maybe I should, and then it came down to just a couple of really sad things, including losing a very, very unlikely fight, Gorbag into Haleth. Haleth on 2 wounds. Gorbag scores 2 wounds into Haleth. So okay, sure. I'm still 75% chance to pass one of these fates, aren't I? Oh no, I'm not. Nope.
Never tell them the odds, but
I didn't. I assume everybody knows. This one I really thought
today.
knows.
Crumbs.
So yes, Haleth died. We both broke. Theoden got black darted to death after just not resisting anything, and every single black dot going off.
Theoden who has just too much will.
He has 3 points of will.
Yes, the man who spends the entire time under the effect of a bad spell.
If you got Greenman near him, he turns into a vegetable very, very, very quickly. So that's always a solution. But yeah, that was I drew Clash by Moonlight. It was our first round of shooting where I killed nothing, and I think I lost 2 Rohan Royal Guards to 3 Orc Tracker shots in return. Which is one of those moments where I was like, is this going to be one of those games?
And you're not salty about it at all.
It's one of those sides where you just go like, I feel bad for my opponent when I get it if they haven't got something to respond with. And yeah, when that happens, it's one of those like that's not the maths just ain't mathsing. Like I think in theory I meant to kill like 4 or 5 dudes on the first turn. I killed nothing. So yeah, that was a sad draw to start my day too.
Skill issue.
Yeah, pretty much.
Round 6, I played heirlooms against Luke Hilda, and we like Luke Hilda. We don't like heirlooms. I don't mind heirlooms in a fun, casual setting, but I do still hate it in tournaments.
How do you feel about a tournament where you can guarantee that you don't have to play heirlooms? Would you feel like attending that tournament?
I feel like I probably am already registered to attend that tournament, but
Well, we can talk about it later. But if a tournament like that existed, it would sound like a pretty good time.
hey,
But
Bert,
carry
how
on
do you
before
feel
we
about
get-
triangles?
I'll try any angle I have a chance at.
Oh, fantastic. So yeah, I played heirlooms against Luke Hilda. He had his elves. I had my Arnor. What he did was he picked up the relic and then sat in a corner of the board and put the relic in the corner of the board next to Galadriel and a banner, and then put an entire wall of elves around it. So what I did was I tried to kill that wall of elves and failed. Well, no, I succeeded gloriously, but that doesn't mean anything in heirlooms if you completely wipe out the opposition, because the banner was still there, as was the relic, and Galadriel was there on 1 wound and 1 wound and 0 fate, but she was still there. So I got like no points, and he got lots of points despite having 3 models on the table. It was one of those lovely games of heirlooms. Next.
Well, next, Henry and I played each other.
Yeah.
Yes.
Would you like to do the honors?
We moved on. The Spider Queen had lots of objectives. Henry and I were both trying to cover the same objective. Henry won a heroic move roll off with Grinner and did not roll a 6. The Goblin King then picked everything up. I walked towards the Goblin King, which fills me with some slight hope, which Henry promptly stomped out just as he decided to stomp on all of his own goblins and end the game. So that was that, really. Henry executed had a plan. He executed the plan. He won the game.
Proud of you, Henry.
Thank you.
It was very well played.
Thank you, Bert. It was a really enjoyable game. That was like one of my highlights.
Oh,
of the
don't tell
tournament.
him that now. You've already teabagged him.
It was one of those things where I go, yeah, it was one of those like this heroic move roll off is going to be really quite exceptionally relevant. I think at that point the Spider Queen was like, I think she died like that turn or the following turn, but she was just trapped by troops. If I win this move off, there will be no goblins here, and then I was have a firing line. A very large number of goblins are going to die. You're not going to break through my line. I have a banner. My leader is not going to die. You are going to break, and I have the Adam.
Yeah.
Tangent. How do people feel about like when you get drawn against someone on your own team, or like someone you play regularly? I always, whenever I go to events, I know it's inevitable that someone, especially because we tend to take quite a few of us, it's just I'd rather not play you guys because I can play you whenever I want casually.
So I personally, I don't. It depends on the event and like who it is and when it is in the day. So if you're going to like a 1-day 4-game event, then I feel a bit sad because I'm like, but you know, I get to play these guys all the time, and we've come out for the day to play someone else. However, I have the added bonus of the fact I quite like playing games with most of you. So I always enjoy a game with people. So I quite like that, and I actually don't play most of the time because I very rarely play because I don't get free time much. So I don't mind it. What I do is I hate it like round 1, round 2. I don't mind it late on because it means we can have a nice relaxed game and there's like no pressure on or anything like that, you know. So if you're in a 100, say, and you're in the final couple of rounds and you get played at each other, you go, cool, right, nice relaxed chilled game for a bit. This will be nice, rather than going, well, you know, if I win 12-0 and then win my next game 12-0, I might be able to get into the podium spots. You go, stop trying so hard, mate. We're both mid-table. Just move on. You know, like it's that kind of.
It was a nice time for us to get a game because I think for me, like once I was like 2 wins. So the previous year I went 5-2, and I think if we played each other under those circumstances, then I would have been a little bit of, oh, I really don't want to have to really try hard in this game. But I think at this point I was 2 wins, 2 losses, and a draw, and I wasn't going to get any score because at this point the scores that I'm chasing are to like boost the team score, and I was that was out of sight of happening for me. So I was like, okay, I get to have a nice chill game with Henry rather than anything.
Yeah.
So I get to lose roll-offs and not care rather than losing roll-offs and hating it. So I was very happy about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's say.
No, you go.
I was gonna say I'm the same attitude. It's like at 2-day hundreds. You know, if you come against a member of your own team, it's like you said, it's gonna be a lovely, relaxed game. On a 1-day, say 90, it's kind of a bit like, oh, okay, hello. There is an element of feels bad, but I still enjoy those games because it's I get to play a game with my friend.
I just wondered how you guys felt with it.
In a 1-day 90, like you're either in a spot where, like, if it's early round, you're trying to win. Like the only time you're up for like a chill game in a 1-day event is if you've both just fluffed it the first like 2 or 3 rounds anyway. Because like when I drew Aaron at the last Darkfire event, it was one of these like, this is unfortunate, but I'm going to have to do everything I possibly can to win this game to the absolute max, which doesn't always feel fantastic.
But then, so Henry and I have played at that same Darkfire event, I think it was, where we were in the final round and we were 1-2 going into that, and we kind of went, okay, so this is good because we're essentially here playing for the win, and instead of having to try, like, we could just play the scenario how we are going to play the scenario and relax into it, because this is, you know, it feels like a nice casual game on a Thursday night rather than a super sweaty try-hard tournament game.
One of you was coming out of that with the win.
Yeah, one of us is winning, and I'm happy either way, because either Henry's winning a tournament or I'm winning a tournament. Either way, I'm happy. So, you know, it has been an attitude shift, I think, from the early days of our local community, where we had different people who no longer play the game with us, where it felt like everyone wanted to be the best out of our local crew. So when you played at a tournament like that, it was very much like you're out for blood against each other almost, which wasn't a pleasant experience. Whereas now it feels very much like, well, I want one of us to win this event. So I'm happy if you win, and I'm happy if I win. And if it's, you know, let's say we play Recon and you've got Riders of Fairden and I've not got Riders of Fairden, and you feel like you're fairly comfortably going to run around me a little bit, that's not the end of the world. I take it and we just kind of move on. If it was someone else, I'd feel really bad, but I'm like, that's cool. You're going to win. So you get a nice big win. Good job, you. Well done. Like, yeah, I'm happy for you. Because one of us is going to do well.
I was just I only ask because it's like every one of the things we do, it's like there's always at some point 2 of us go, oh, we played together.
It's not an unspoken rule that any event that Dewey runs, Henry and I have to play. Like that was the 3rd event on the trot that we played each other.
So I've played Henry at 3 of the 6 events I've been to this year.
How many games is Henry playing? Is he playing 5 games at 4-game events just to play against his team?
Just cramming us all in.
Yeah.
Well, I think that Dewey's not the 100, the 90 he did, or the 80 he did.
80.
Me and Henry played, and then I think you and Henry played as well.
So that's one of the things that we have as a slight, whenever we go to like the more local events, we do often take, you know, we're a quarter of the field sometimes. Maybe I think there's one where we're almost half the field. It's like, that's great, but it does mean that we play each other a lot. But it's cool to see that we're like out and representing. There's one locally where it was like there's only 4 different groups represented. There's like us, our guys, the Reading guys, a couple of Guardians guys, and someone else.
Wales.
And like that was it.
Yeah.
That was like everyone who was there. But yeah, round 7 was divide and conquer. So going into round 7, I am 3-3. about as distinctly mediocre as I could. I was hoping for a draw. It was going to be all right. 3-3. I played Tom Welsh, who I think was ringering, and he had a Sons of Aeol list, which was Aeol, loads of Sons of Aeol, and then a King of Men on horse with a lance, and some boys. And what happened was he rode his Sons of Aeol into my warband that was separate and killed it. Turned around and rode his Sons of Aeol into the rest of my army and killed that too. And that was about it. It was over in about 20 minutes. Basically, I did the same thing I tried against the Riders of Theoden earlier in the tournament, where I decided to just try and not win heroic move roll-offs and see how it would go for me. And the answer is poorly. But now we know, and I've done the market research for you guys at home. You're welcome. How you beat cavalry armies is you win the heroic move roll-offs. So it doesn't really work if you lose them. I tried. I'm sorry. So I went 3-4, but I was finished nice and early, so I got to help pack up all my own terrain so I could go home. It would have been cooler if I was not providing a bunch of terrain and I would have just gone home, but I didn't. So it's all right because home was like 20 minutes away. But I was still home, showered, and in bed before some guys had like finished the event, so that was nice. So yeah, that was me. Henry, game 7.
Well, game 7. I'm going to give this to Jordan. Jordan, what do you think I played round 7 based on my previous experience this tournament?
Pits?
Yes. My 4th game of pits.
Did you win?
Oh, God, no. So
did you remember the rule this time?
I did. I went fudge it. I'm just going to go in. So yeah, it was against Elliot again. Azog and his lads just got to the center because goblins are slow even with march compared to normal march with orcs. So he got there first. Azog decided to run over to the Spider Queens, went bonk, ran over and decided to terrorize the left flank. Yeah, that was a game where I lost.
Good job. But how did you get on?
So I don't actually remember. I think the lad may have won most sporting. Sam Whitlock, lovely chap. I think playing one of his first tournaments. I got to advertise an event, and he was playing Rise of Theoden, but a funky one with only Theoden and Aomer and some lads. So he didn't. Well, he had no march one side and didn't use it on the other. So I actually hit the middle first. I set up a perimeter. I killed lots of stuff. I abandoned the outer objectives because he had lots of cav. I thought, well, I'll just take the middle. I'll break him, and then everything will be fine. That did not quite happen, and it came down to his dismounted Theoden was like half an inch within the zone in the turn where he broke. So I thought, this is great. What I'm going to do is not trap his Theoden, so that when he loses the fight, even if I don't kill him, he'll back away and therefore won't be within space of the middle. And then I will have my 5 points, and then he's out of might, and he'll never be able to get back into the middle. So that was cool. Until we do that fight, and I go, oh, are you going to shield? He goes, nah, I'm going to go for it and try and get a leader wound. So he 2 dices into a 6. I roll 5 high on everything, but only 4 high on Theoden with a point of might and the Elven Blade in there. So I lose the fight. He stays within 3. He then does a wound to Theoden, which I roll a 3 for the fate. Have to spend Theoden's last point of might to not concede the VP. And the game then ends the first time of asking. So that game finished in a draw. Yeah, which was one of the more ridiculous things to happen of the weekend. So I finished with 2 wins, 2 draws, and 3 losses, which is by an absolutely cataclysmic margin my worst performance as GBHL 100. But it was a lovely weekend doing Run to Great event. I will be back next year.
First performance at a GBHL 100 as a player.
He's not run his event yet this year.
So it was a fun time.
Event.
So in general, I think the takeaway from that was that event was fairly cursed for us all, and we should never talk about it again.
Yeah. Before I take the exact same list to the same event again next year.
Pit.
This here is the final standings. Congratulations to Stephen Denby. We like Stephen Denby. He's a nice lad. Nice boy. Goblin Town, mate. Turns out quite good. Unless you put a Spider Quid in it. Eh, Henry?
Yeah.
Edible, Riders Fair then came second. What was Clubly using?
Ruffians.
No, that's only for fun.
Hits.
Was he on like Isengard good stuff?
I actually don't know. Mikolaj was on Riders Fair then. James Brown was on Goblin Town. Wiggins was something. No one cares. Rawson was Arnold because he's better than me at Arnold, surprisingly.
Yaka was on Carned.
Yaka was on Carned, yes.
Sean White was on holy hell drugs.
What?
No, I just saw Sean White in 9th
and went holy hell drugs. He said Sean White was on drugs.
Yeah.
J'accuse. Either way, I'm down in 42nd because I'm not very good at this game. Bert's in 40th. He's slightly better in this game. And Henry is at lofty height of 33rd because he's better than all of us combined.
Shout out to George at 32.
Cat and George, yeah, he's in 32. Second, 32nd, which is better than Henry and us as well. So, you know, Cat and George, mate. I'm really sad because like most people I beat are above me. But you know.
Yeah, I was top 10 last year, so I really came into this event feeling quite confident. And then just so much went wrong.
Well, let's jump on over. While we're jumping on over, we've got time for an advertising break from our sponsor, Bert. Bert, would you like to talk to us about your Lord and Savior Atomic Verticon?
We will have a very, very, very quick chat about Atomic Verticon. We have released tickets. We are running at a very healthy 55 tickets sold. So we definitely have a really, really, really good event. I'm starting to buy the prizes very soon. You'll start seeing some posts. You'll see a post up about rooms, and there are still rooms available. So definitely jump on that thread. Again, the twin rooms are £90, so £45 a head. That's for the Friday night, Saturday night, or both per night, and that includes breakfast. So if you want to go the whole hog, you can get your £75 ticket if you buy with a friend, and £90 for £165. You can get a 2-night hotel stay, literally every single meal from Saturday breakfast to Sunday lunch, all paid for, and never see sunlight. So if that sounds like a good time, come to Atomic Verticon. Additionally,
I'll be there.
I think we'll all be there. It's going to be amazing.
We'll all be there.
We'll all be there. Even better. Now, I set the initial boundary for tickets at 80. As things stand, virtually no Golems gamers have bought tickets yet. If we can sell 25 more tickets, then you may be able to go to a GBHL 100, which has a wait-to-serve meal. A GBHL 100, where if you do not want to, you do not need to play Heirlooms of Ages Past. And third, you can go to GBHL 100 and have a 0% chance of playing against Ashley Wilger. Now, if that sounds like a good time to you, buy your ticket to Atomic Verticon. This is what we're going for.
I really hope that he sees this and he buys a ticket just to spite you.
Oh,
Can you imagine? He's just watching this and he goes, "I'm buying it."
Imagine if this video goes out and like a day later, I've just sold 25 tickets and I can go, lads, I'm really sorry.
Based purely on the fact that no one would have to play Wolga.
If you sell 25 tickets, can Kimmy come?
Kimmy's living in Dorset now, mate.
Mate, heartbroken. I'm never coming again.
I know. I'm sorry. But yeah, we're gonna start getting some price together. You'll see a bit more hype on there. I'll get a long chance. I'll get a. Oh, for Jesus Christ! I'll try and get her back.
No, she watches these still. It's okay.
Sure. There's no reason to believe this, but sure. Yeah, we'll get like a long checks page up. We'll get this kind of stuff going. So again, for those, if you've missed it somehow, first weekend of November, 555 points, 7 rounds. Veto. It's a mix of veto in the pools with the scenarios that nobody likes. I think contest pool, seize the prize pool, and maelstrom pool. So you can just not play contest or seize the prize or Adams, and that's going to make everyone happy. And then we're doing some prizes with poker chips where you can come 75th and win £300, or you could win and just win some dice and some league points or something, but who cares? It's going to be a glorious time. Please come to Atomic Verticon.
But
Thank you for that lovely break.
Important question. Sorry, before we go anywhere.
Have
you finalised the menu yet?
I think I got sent it. I need to double check it. I think they gave me way too many options. I need to work out how many options we can actually choose.
If you need any help, I'm sure you just put it in the group chat.
We can do an atomic cast where all we do is choose what food.
Oh, can we tier list it? I hear people like tier lists.
A tier list of Atomic Verticon food.
Yeah.
What can you do like a live stream so we can get comments on it as well?
Just no, you don't want people getting involved, but
you can supposedly on one of the tier list websites now have a community tier list where they do the tier list for you.
No,
they vote on every option.
No, they're all wrong. They're all wrong. It's got my name in it. This is very much a benign dictatorship. I'm just not.
It's also got my name on it. Bert.
Have you seen the mess that democracy's got into the last few years?
My name's on it first.
Yes, a benign dictatorship too. A consulate, an ancient Roman consulate, and that went fairly well. It was not democracy. If Tom and I had ruled the ancient world, everything would have gone fantastic. But oh no, everyone needs to vote. Ridiculous.
So Henry and I decided to travel up to a lovely event in Wolverhampton, which is definitely not in Birmingham, as I got told several times, at the Tabletop Gamers of Wolverhampton in a cool church that they had. They appeared to be a fairly new game club. And this was their first event that they ran. And we went just for some vibes, basically for a day out, really. It was a free game event, which was happening entirely in the afternoon on a weekend, which was a nice little thing. So, even for a nice, it's a couple of hour trip up there, but we could leave at 10 o'clock. It was nice and civilized.
Yeah.
I didn't get home till midnight, but it was an all right time. We're playing 600 points, so I thought, I'm bored of Arnold. They're really boring. Let's do Lake Town, because Lake Town are fun. You can do heroic combats and stuff. Have a lovely time. So I took 600 points at Lake Town. Henry, what did you take?
I just took good old reliable, just Goblin Town.
Just vanilla Goblin Town?
Just vanilla Goblin Town, my little boys.
Bit of vanilla boys. So yeah, we got there. We played some games. I played my first game, and it was that one Hold Ground, because the scenarios were predetermined as well, weren't they? So yes, we played Hold Ground.
Yeah.
Hold Ground. I was just hoping to not get too maelstromed. I got maelstromed. To what we did was I came on first. All of my stuff except for Bard and his warband came on in the same place, which is lovely for Lake Town. And we left a nice big semicircle in case I wanted to put anyone there from his guys. And then Bard came on the opposite board edge with his warband, and that's got a lot of my bows in it. So that was actually almost perfectly ideal. Then his side rolled for Maelstrom. Aragon didn't roll too hot. Aragon got chucked right in the middle of my big semicircle I just left with his warband. And the King of the Dead rolled quite well and decided to go and try and take on Bard by himself with his little warband. So I had on one side of the board, we had Bard and his warband taking on the King of the Dead and his warband. And on the opposite side of the board, we had Master, Braga, Alfred, and 30 something 40 models taking on Aragorn and about 8 Warriors of the Dead. So I had a lovely time. Bard's warband all died, but Bard didn't because Bard's a G. He just kind of stood there killing ghosts. The other guys kind of surrounded Aragorn, and then Master Alfred, Bard, and a bunch of Master Alfred Braga and a bunch of lads just ran to the middle objective, meaning that I would definitely break from if Aragorn killed my boys, and then the game would end. I'd have loads of models on the center objective. Life would be good. However, once I did break, what I decided to do was just snake eyes everything on the courage tests, and all my heroes ran away, and then all my warriors ran away. And I had like nothing left on the center objective, and then I lost the game, and that made me sad.
Was it actually snake eyes for all 3 courage tests?
No, it was like what it was one-off passing on every single one of them. It was like, yeah. So which meant, yeah, the master was snake eyes, I think, because he hadn't done anything, so he was pretty statted up. What, in hindsight, if I'd assumed that I wouldn't roll that badly, which is a terrible decision for me. And if I'd like left Alfred with Will as well, so if he could pass himself too, and I was like, one of them will pass. What I should have done is put all of Alfred's might into the master, so master had enough stats that he would have passed no matter what happened, which is entirely a skill issue from me. And I was rusty with him and forgot about that, essentially. Because if the master had had 5 points of might, maybe even 4, plus a couple of points of will, he wasn't failing at all ever. But I thought it was overkill, and I was wrong. So, you know, it's on me. I fucked up. But hey, I was too comfortable with how that game was, to be honest. I was like, there's no way I'm going to lose this. And then I lost to 12-0. So that's fun. Henry, how did your game one go?
So I played against Alex Richardson and his Phaedra's Guard.
Not Men in the West.
Not Men in the West.
What a loser.
So I came on from like the south and the west. I moved up. He came in from the north edge. And he came down. I basically just was like, I'm going to get to the middle because I have 69 goblins. What can go wrong? Turns out that was a very good decision. I just sort of swamped the middle. Our lines eventually clashed. I'm not going to lie, my dice rolled incredibly well. Unfortunately, Alex's did not. I ended up like munching through some of his lads. There was a situation where my mercs came in. There was like a tower. Phaedra came into my merc captain and like pinned him against the tower. There was a guy in front of him. I charged into him with the Goblin King, running over 3 of my dudes. Yes, it was free. There was a heroic combat situation. I won that combat, won heroic combat, won the combat, and threw a man at Phaedra. Dismounting him.
Woo!
So
we love a Goblin Town success story.
Proud of you,
I
Henry.
love throwing goblins. I love it. I eventually we did go over time, but I ended up more dudes in the middle. I think he broke me, got a wound on Goblin King, or killed him, something like that. I did win that 7-5 in the end. So
nice.
Yeah.
Well done, Henry.
Well done, Henry. Love you.
Thank you.
Proud of you, my dude.
Love you all.
You've got this.
Game 2. We played
Fog.
Fog of War, and I played against a Mordor list, which was Black Numnorian front lines and Morannon's back lines with the Witch King, and Gorulf and Zagdush. And what I did was I sat still and I shot him, and I killed him quite quickly because Black Numnorian's defense 6, but there's a lot of bows in Lake Town. Also, Bard's bow strength 4, and that really hurts defense 6. And then I pushed up onto my thing, final turn. Bard kind of heroic combated between Zagdush and Gorulf, having a lovely time. So yeah, I got all me points in that one.
Did he heroic off combat off one of them and kill both of them in a turn?
Yes,
that's fantastic.
I had weakened them first. It wasn't like automatic because Gorulf, like we'd slammed into Gorulf and killed orcs, and then killed orcs to save himself and things like that first. So Gorulf was like dead.
Is that
but
done
not actually
lending
dead.
Gorulf, or is it Goroth?
Goroth.
Yeah.
Oh yes, Gorolf. Sorry, Gorolf and Gorulf. Yes,
Sorry.
Gorolf, the big fat orc who puts another orc in front of him.
Two-hander.
Yeah,
He got me.
I don't know. He didn't win a fight.
I really like him.
Some of you really like him. And I've just killed him every time I played against him in like one turn. Well, not one turn because he's gone an orc, and then I've gone cool. I'll kill you next turn then. Like it's just okay. Basically, yes, but Zigzag, I like him, but he's not very good at fighting heroes. Bless him. But what he did do was he black darted Braga to death very quickly, because Braga was very clearly his target, and he just black darted him until he died. So fairly, he got points for that, and yeah, it was a fairly fun game, but yeah, it was pretty comfy, I think. The first turn or two where shooting just ripped through his front line really hurt him. Henry, how did your game 2 go?
Well, I played a chap called Adam. He had Sauron, which was a really interesting time. Basically, I knew in my head going into it, it's like, Goblin King's probably not going to survive that well against Sauron. So I basically ended up lobbing goblins at him until it wounded Sauron, so I can at least get some points there. Hit the rest of my heroes. Yeah,
we love a throwing goblin.
I kept Grinner, I kept the captain, the scribe, and Gollum all the way at the back of the board because Gollum doesn't have the ring at this point. He's like, nah, don't have it, mate. So the scribe also popped off this game. Came in like basically every board edge with goblins, swarmed my objective with lots and lots of goblins in the anticipation of breaking. The mercs also kept not coming on until the turn I broke. Luckily, I broke. So the following turn, obviously, we started rolling to see if it ends. The mercs came in. My merc captain was the hero I chose to keep alive. The game ended that turn, luckily. But at this point, he got into his objective. Goblin King long dead. He also had like a black num front line. So basically my courage 1 goblins just didn't want to charge. Didn't really fancy it half the time. So it was just it ended up being a draw. Sauron, quite difficult to play against when you got courage 1 lads and courage.
It's quite hard to kill.
Yeah, and it's not like a normal scenario like bears where you can just ignore them and go for the lads. It's like no, you have to deal with Sauron.
Fogs, was it 6 points for keeping Sauron safe? Essentially, because it's 3 for keeping him safe and 3 denied from you for killing him.
Yeah.
Was Sauron the only hero?
Yes.
Interesting.
I've never played against Sauron.
Is he fighting 9 or fight 10?
Fighting 9.
Isn't it just the Balrogs fight 10?
Yeah, it is. No, it's kind of no, it's interesting because so he's defense 10, isn't he?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're still sixes down to what's the Goblin King wounding him on? Like
Doesn't matter. He'll be dead. It's
Yeah.
completely irrelevant.
Yeah.
Oh, the Goblin King's dead, mate. Sauron's got magic that goes, "You're dead."
Who
Goblin
is killing Sauron in the game? Who is doing it?
Not much.
LSR.
Is Gilgalad doing it?
No, LSR is.
Just LSR.
Azog.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
It takes a VAT level hero and some friends to do it. Yeah.
By the Queen, because we all know she's the
No.
best.
Oh
Nah.
no.
It's still six. It's still sixes, and she's not knocking him prone.
Jesus. So it's literally like a handful of heroes.
I played against him at a tournament, and we played the game through, and then afterwards was like, "Yeah, I want to see if I can kill him." So we tried to kill him, and I was playing with fiefdoms, so I put Imrahil, Forlong, and whoever and a bunch of knights and stuff into him, and we bounced off.
I'm assuming
400 plus points of models. Just
I was going to say,
off.
I'm assuming he's like so many points that he just you don't get enough guys to win objective games and stuff. That's why.
I mean, I played against someone once at Hold Ground in Darkfire, and I marched to the middle, and it's so many. The big thing is that it's so. If he had Mighty Hero, maybe the points cost would be justified in like more scenarios. But because it's 3 points of might in 400 points of model.
Join us next time for fixing Sauron on atomic cards.
BT does.
Yeah. So by the time he's at might, you can just pop one dad into him. He'll kill him, but he can't do anything else.
What he needs is a new, better, cooler model with a new profile that and more points. He needs to be more points and better, so that he's like a one-man army like Smaug.
Helm.
500 point Sauron.
Produce the bastard offspring of Sauron and Helm Hammerhand, and then you have a profile.
Because at the moment he doesn't die, but he doesn't he doesn't walk into an army and go, "Oh la 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 la, you're all dead." He walks into an army and goes, "You're dead, and you're dead." But
if he had free combats, that would actually fix him. Not Mighty Hero, but like free combats, because he shouldn't be able to get pinned down by one model, which is currently what's happening.
Yeah.
If he can hurl, but every single model in the combat gets hurled, like he does in the movies.
Or just mega barge like Smaug has.
His barges cause wounds.
But Legends Legion with buffs to Sauron in a new Last Alliance supplement after Ardor, maybe.
We know you're watching J. Claire.
A nice, I'd pay £150 for. Well, I wouldn't, but some people would pay £150 for a Forge World Sauron that looked sick. And you could have this new Legendary Legion where it's just Sauron walking around going la la la. No maximum warband size for Sauron. Just Sauron and orcs at like 1,000 points, where you could put Sauron and just orcs everywhere.
I have one last Sauron question, and then I promise I'll let you guys move on.
Yeah.
Cool. Does he count as a banner?
Nah, bro.
No.
Nah, he's shit, mate.
Sauron counts as a banner. New Forge World model. Orcs.
Yeah.
He's also only 40 mil.
The orcs awful as well.
Your shit. Right, round 3, I played against Alex Richardson, and we played on To the Death. And what I did on To the Death was I had more bows than he did, so he had to come to me. He didn't actually have to come to me, but he did. Yeah.
Okay.
So I explained to him afterwards that he didn't have to come to me, but he did. I deployed expecting to have to go to him, but he came to me. which made it a lot easier because then I just shot him with my bows and then he died. He made it to combat just about. We had like one, maybe 2 turns of combat, but there's an awful lot of late time if you don't whittle them down before you get there, and he didn't. So yeah, killed him. Couldn't kill his banner, and I didn't kill Phaedred. So just some points because he ended up going to time, I think, because but yeah, it was all right. So 2-1. Henry, how did your final game go?
I played against a chap called Elliot. Elliot had a lovely little Rangers army, as in Rangers of the North, which was Aragorn and 14 Rangers.
I like it.
It was intimidating. It was just a case of I'm gonna have to come towards you, just a bunch of lads, and see what happens.
No Halbrand.
Luckily, no Halbrand.
That's a plus.
Mm-hmm. So ended up
6-inch banner was good.
Yeah, and like fearless as well, which would have been nice, especially for Goblin King. I just ended up marching up. I hid behind a bush with a Goblin Captain. Got up into lines. There was 2 or 3 turns where my rolls were not great, and his rolls were much better, and he just murdered goblins. As I swarmed in, the Mercs came in a graveyard on the left flank. Aragorn and the Goblin King kept sparring. He did inflict 2 wounds on the Goblin King, at which point I tried to get him away because Aragorn, with his magic lightsaber of Bonk, it's not good for the Goblin King because it's an elven-made weapon, and it goes for his blubbery mass.
Was it the Legion?
No, it was just Rangers.
Interesting. Somehow the dice gods bestowed me with good dice, and I started killing his Rangers very quickly in 1 turn. So we both broke on the same turn. I then managed to get in a couple of heroic moves, tie off a couple of extra Rangers, kill them off. And then the second turn after break, I was able to get a Goblin King and some lads into Aragorn, and he died very quickly because he was trapped. And then that turn, it was 25% on his end, and the game ended. It was Caragor was the end, so it was just both of us broke. I got him to 25%. I killed his leader. He wounded my leader, but I won that. So, yay!
Nice, man. The Rangers do go down like Mogs, don't they?
That's my mum. That is my mum.
They're soft and squishy,
like Mogs,
like she used to be.
Oh.
So Henry,
for the ages.
your result there, my friends, carried you up onto the podium.
He did.
2 wins and a draw, with your mate you drew with Sauron coming just above you.
Yep.
And Jack Buckler with Men in the West taking home the W over Alex Richardson, who was full of lament because he should have brought Men in the West. I was very confused as to how the pairings and stuff were working at this event, because Elliot, who you played in the final game, was 0-2 when you played him, and you were 1 win and a draw. But let's not dwell on it too much.
Yeah.
There are some things that happened at this event that were interesting, but let's not talk about it too much. They were trying. It was their first time. Probably should have done it was the first time running an event ever. Probably should have done a dry run first with the local lads. But been to a Middle Earth event ever before. But Jack's winning list was LSR, 12 Warriors of Minas Tirith, a Captain of Dalamroth, 12 Warriors of Minas Tirith, and Legolas.
Can Dalamroth captains lead Warriors of Minas Tirith in that legion?
That's what I said. Henry says yes.
They can, because Gondor keyword.
Interesting.
Yeah, that was
this the
my
tournament?
first instinct as well. I was very confused by it.
Is
but-
this the tournament where there was, and I'm not going to go into too much detail, an interesting proxy?
Yes,
Yes.
that's
Yes.
down here somewhere.
No, they can. They can. Yeah. Even... So what?
It's not that one. So it's the other Moria list. Down here somewhere. So it's okay. But yes, that was that tournament. Like I said, it was their first time doing stuff. It was nice to see them more or less. They were all really lovely lads, and the bloke who was running his mum made some like samosas from and brought them in, and they were still warm, and we had a nice time.
Sorry,
Henry's tummy didn't enjoy one of them.
Samosas or
yeah.
mimosas?
Samosas.
Okay,
No, I'd have liked some mimosas. That would have been lovely.
Imagine bringing in mimosas and samosas. Just both on a tray.
Henry, you know how you enjoyed doing your 80s? Well, boy, do I have a theme for you. Mimosas and samosas, and you have to come in fancy dress. Right.
Henry, I'll
Pre-event
cancel every
events?
holiday I've got booked if you do that.
So, that there was that event. Congratulations to Henry. I ended up in sixth. Like, I have no idea how the scorings was working. But we had a good time. That's our little event run that we've just been on, I think.
No, you've got one more.
No. Yes. That insignificant event.
I've waited all year for this.
Bert.
Let me have my moment.
So Bert went to an event.
Amazing cut to black moment.
That was it, really. He went on his own. Nothing else happened, and we'll move on.
What's going on your own? Friends, Bert.
Yeah, just don't take any friends with you, Bert. It's all right. The maths are his friends. His little boys are his friends. But
oh man,
do you want to tell us a story?
I'll tell you a quick story. Yeah, so this was a event up at Borden, newly taken over by Dale Groves, and in short, Dale ran one of my favourite events I've been to.
How rude!
Fantastic, never. He's a fantastic TO, really well organised. Terrain was good. Good, clean, efficient TOing, really cool prizes, and I'm keeping an eye out for any more events that he's running. So shout out Dale Groves, Borden, really, really good events these days. So yeah, it was called A Ranger Caught Off His Guard. It was a 5-game event for a 1-day 90, which got me very excited because I like playing games. And it was at 355 points, which is different and cool. And maybe think about what on earth they wanted to take, because defenders don't work at those points. Apparently, they don't work at any points, but they definitely don't work at these points.
Because they just don't work when you do them.
Yeah, pretty much. So I just took the only other army I have. Almost. I had to borrow Theoden and Dalewine, but I took Rides of Theoden. So I took Theoden, Dernhelm, Dalewine, 2 Royal Guard, and 4 Rides of Rohan with throwing spears. So it was cool, had some punch, had some ability. I thought, you know what, I'll just go there, I'll have a good time. So round 1, I played against Lurtz's Scouts at Clash? No. May actually have been Clash. Yes, it was Clash by Midnight. I scored an early hit on. I scored an early hit on Lurtz for a leader wound that was kind of cool. But in a 5-game event, if I dropped a game or two, then having the high BPDF mattered. So we still went for it. In what turned into a running theme, I ran in with Dalewine into 2 Uruks, obviously with no spear support because it's Scouts. He rolled too high and lost his horse, like turn 2. So that was amazing. charged in with Thayen and Durnhelm the following turn. Called death. Had to spend 2 points of might on each of them to win the fight. But Thayen just died to a huge sweaty roll off between him and Bert. If I Bert was going to die, but Durnhelm did work, and I ended up winning that one. I killed all of his heroes, had Durnhelm alive, and I wasn't broken. So that was a decent big win to start with. Round 2 was heirlooms. My first ever game against Rangers of Mirkwood, which I wasn't excessively thrilled by. However, my opponent slightly misplaced things, where I could tag off his 2 home objectives very early on, and then just ran Durnhelm round, picked up some other things, and ended up picking up the heirloom with Durnhelm on full stack. So ended up quartering him with the heirloom without breaking myself. So that was a nice start. Death actually did some things.
Did you just dismount Durnhelm to pick up the thing?
No, Durnhelm was escorting 2 Riders of Rohan around. So there were like 2 left, and but it got a bit weird. There's like 15 minutes left on the clock, and after I picked up the heirloom with a dismounted Rider of Rohan, my opponent's turns suddenly started taking 1.5 minutes rather than 7 or 8 minutes. It was interesting. But he was 2 models off quartering, so I just charged down him into 2 rangers, struck up, had 2 points of might left, killed them, end of the game. Just so that we couldn't get any. I didn't want to play lots of turns of me trying to play it at normal pace and my opponent trying to play at turbo super speed. So that was quite comfortable. I then played against played to the death against Ale the Young and I think 13 Sons of Ale. That was an interesting matchup, but I thought, okay, well, what I'll do is I'll charge my 3 heroes in.
12.
12, there you go. I'll charge my 3 heroes in. I will call death. I may spend a couple points of might here and there, and if I can kill 5 lads, then I'm probably in a reasonably good spot to winning this game. I'll keep Thayen protected. So I call death. I end up spending 5 points of might on top of death, and I killed 2 models. Yeah. And bless him, my opponent Ash Scott ended up winning the event. At the end, one of the most gracious wins I've ever seen. He just went, mate, the whole way through this tournament, I just rolled 6s. And it's just all 3 of those big fights, he just rolled 6s. I had to spend might to try and win it, and then more might to try and get a kill where possible. And then I thought, well, I can't really do too much at this point because once that's my only leverage, because all the Sons of Ale is like cav on cav, but they're 2 attacks basic. And they're really choppy. So on the charge, even against cav, they're strength 5. They can pierce a strike strength 6. Like they are choppy as all hell. So
yes.
I thought, that's going to go. So yeah, if I forget, we were done in like 25 minutes. And then a whole bunch of us went to the pub. There's a pub near Borden Brum. Go to Borden Brum. It's a cool place. There's a pub.
Is there a pub near there?
So as you like turn left off the road into the estate, that pub on the corner that looks like the kind of place where someone like me gets stabbed. It's actually quite a nice pub.
All right.
So we went there.
Can we do next time Tom does an event? Can we take Bert to like one of the Weatherspoons in Swindon, please?
Should we take him to the Dockle?
Ah, please.
Oh.
Bert in the Dockle will be like. It'd be on the news.
I'll try.
I was in Africa that one time.
I'll wear my least buttoned outfit, and I'm sure I'll fit right in. I'll see their wine list and see what happens.
You'll get a wine bottle in your neck.
Yeah, most likely. Anyhow, right, round 4. I had my first ever game against Ned Merrick, who's a delightful chap. I'm a big fan of Ned Merrick and his Far Harad. My first ever game against camels, which with cavalry is kind of terrifying. So we had a turn or two like exchanging some bowfire, and I got a couple of early kills or like early wounds on horses and things. So they did the right thing, went full send, and then there was just a huge slew of this was a Lords of Battle. There's a huge slew of combats and strikes and this kind of thing. And I think it was essentially just I had enough might to keep it going. And for the first time, that Dale Wine's free combat rule was just really good. So although Dale Wine's limited where he can go, if you can get a combat off with him and like 2 or 3 other lads, that one combat going off and then just suddenly getting 3 traps, it basically ended the game that turn. But the impact hits did a number, like Durnhelm died, like the whole model died to impact hits. Theoden got dismounted due to impact hits. It was quite sweaty. But yeah, got decent. I think I got more. I think I just about got more wounds, no double or triple. Killed the leader, and I wasn't broken. So that was a nice win. So I was 3-1 going into the final round, where I played against one of the worst was Mr. Dan Watkins and his Pits of Dol Guldur at Recon. I waddled to Royal Guard off towards his board edge. They hung around there in case they needed. They weren't. They wandered off. And I basically spent the whole game just measuring how far it was to stay 10 inches away from Azog and then killing the rest of it. I got quite lucky that with priority, so he was calling heroics first. And he was opting to call combats with Azog into my heroes who could call strikes and had might and stuff. So I think Azog's first 3 combats just didn't do anything because he lost the fight. Or he just didn't do enough wounds to kill anything. Meanwhile, the heroes were just murdering good and bad. So I didn't get the leader kill, but I got 5 points for get models off and then break unbroken for a reasonable win. So I finished 4-1 and ended up coming 3rd, which in a 37-man field I was rather happy with. It's amazing what happens when I play an army that has options and can move around the board and does more than lose games, apparently. So I had a lovely day. I had a really lovely day. I got some points for the team. I'd come off like a 70-hour working week and I got off at 6 to drive to Birmingham to go to this event. So I think if I've been out of the house for 14 hours to get battered and come home again, it may have been the end of my GBHL year.
I was so emotionally done after that game 1 at that Wolves tournament where it all just fell apart on like the final turn. I was just like, I've had to juggle stuff to get the day off to come up here. I was like, for that, and I was like, mathematically shouldn't happen. I was fuming. I was like,
yeah.
So I'm very happy that it didn't go well for you.
Yeah. I would have been in a bit of a mood if that had happened there as well. But one of my favourite things about this event, I think every single opponent I had either never played and never met, or just never played before. I think I got 5 new opponents, which is really cool. It's so rare that happens. It was a cracking day. Had a really good variety in the field. You had like some experienced faces around there, some newer ones, some local lads, people I hadn't seen for a while. Had lovely to catch up with Harry and Tim Elwis off Entmoot. That was great. It was the exact day that I needed, and to get a reasonable result in there as well felt really, really, really good. So happy, Bert.
Nice. Our last 2 podiums aren't on this yet as a team, so Henry and Bert's. But this is the current GBHL team rankings for this year. So 7 City Crusaders are currently top with just many points. Then they've got 982 out of a possible 1,000. So that's not bad.
That's just silly.
Golems Gamers have 972 out of a possible 1,000. And then there's a chunky little drop off down to the Guardians from Distant Land, who are just chilling out on a 928 out of possible 1,000. So they must have a few lower down scores further on. A couple of people not pulling it. Yeah, they've got a couple of people not pulling their weight at the end there. Ooh. Then we've got the Guardians and Any Heroics, Legendary Legion off of Scotland, and then Team Atomic in 7th place overall.
Henry, do you know roughly how many points you got for your 3rd place?
Oh, I could probably work it out.
How many people? How many people in the field?
Only like 14 or so.
Yeah.
Okay, so it was sub 80.
Yeah.
I'm not sure it affects Henry's score.
It won't affect Henry's team contribution. I think mine would have gone up like 6 points, so I think it brings us closer. I think it brings Team Atomic. Yeah, we're definitely a lot closer to.
I tried to look, and it's.
No, I
think we're like the spreadsheet.
I think we're still 5 points short of Legendary Legion.
But it's okay though, because it's all right. We'll do some more good soon. It's okay.
Yeah.
So that's us. Yeah, chilling 7th. Still ahead of Fellowship Ring Road, Gun Lads and the Bucky Berserkers, War Wyverns and Pigmar, local rivals. We'll get them. And then Noobs of Numenor.
Go on, the boys.
Chilling out in 25th. That's our other crew.
We've got have the new players' scores.
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah.
It looks like it has. Let's see if I can look without breaking the spreadsheet. Oh, yes.
Yeah, they have. Yeah, because Dylan, Jack, and Tom are all new boys.
Yes.
Nice.
And Leah Hungerford.
Oh, you put Leah in.
Of course I did.
She'll be buzzing.
Yes, if you didn't know, the GBHL has a transfer window in the middle of the season. You can't transfer people, but you can add new people on. So we've just added a bunch of our new noobs into our noobs crew, which has brought them up to 25th.
That's pretty good.
Got Big Tom Robinson scores there. That's Jack 33.
Yeah,
and that doubles you went to together. Yeah. So yeah, these may both be Jordan.
No, 83 is George. I'm the 275.
Oh, you're the 275s. Okay.
Yeah, I'm the.
You got be pretty proud of yourself, being pretty used to this and just banging out some 75-point scores. You got to feel pretty good about that.
I think I'm the highest overall point scorer for the team.
That's pretty cool.
The two scores added together, I think I put up more for the team, but George has scored more points overall. I think that's how that worked.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm nowhere.
Jordan is 11th best noob.
Yeah. The other noobs are actually good at this game.
Because the dramatic fall off after you stopped getting carried at events.
I went to 4 events in the first 2 months, which very much made me sit at the top for way longer than I should have.
This Caleb Silverglide who just isn't in the country anymore.
Yes.
He came from America, I believe. I believe that's the rumor I heard, is that he came from America.
He stayed at Bert's house.
So this actually happened. So he came to that 100 in Bath, and he dropped his wallet. I saw his matriculation card for his university, where it turns out that he's at my old place up in Scotland. I had a chat. I went, where are you staying? He goes, oh yeah, I don't really know. How are you getting back to Scotland? He goes, I haven't really worked that one out yet, but I've got class on Monday morning. I went, okay, well, how are you getting back? He goes, oh yeah, I guess I could get an overnight train. How are you getting there? I don't really know. So the commitment from this lad, he travelled he's only over here for a few months. And of all places, he chose freaking Bath to go to for a GBHL 100. We played round 1. And so I ended up going, well, a bit odd, but I guess just come stay at my dad's house. My dad wasn't there. I just dumped him in my father's house by himself for the night. Came and picked him up the next morning, dumped him on a train, and I just haven't heard a single word from the lad since. He's one of the world's more fascinating creatures.
The upper class in this country are the most trusting people in the world. Did he have buttons on? Was that what did it for you? He was wearing buttons and you were like, stand up guy.
Oh, God love the aristocracy. Well, that's the thing. If you've got 17 bedrooms, you may as well put them to use once in a while.
Papa was not at the estate that weekend.
No,
The West Wing was still empty.
Yeah, precisely. Like, as long as you use the servant stairs, you'll never know that they're there.
Atomic Cards does not condone these actions. So we are. This is I filtered it by the gang. So I'm currently in 21st overall. Henry's in 29th. Ben is in 44th. George 48th. Bert 52nd. Aaron 55th. Chris 68th. Tom 109th. Jordan 115th. Simon 105th. Mark 238. Tom 513. Benjamin 504. Jack 610. Dylan 883, Sam Fitch 860, and Leah 860, tied with Sam Fitch. No, all gone. I broke it. This is going to be a fun bit of recording.